Hi, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about the research paper. I'm about to open up week 4, even though I know it's a few days ahead of time, but it looked like on the grade book that many of you had already completed most of the assignments for week 3. So I'm going to go ahead and open up week 4 after I post this video. And so you can really start on the research paper. Remember, according to our syllabus and the guidelines for the English department at Kilgore College, is that your research paper in 1302 is 25% of your overall grade. So if you were not happy with that short story analysis, realize that along with the extra credit opportunities and other things that I'm giving you, the research paper can really help you improve your average. It's very important this week that you open up all of the handouts that I have that I'm posting, that you watch all the videos, that you really spend time in researching for this research paper. First off, the research paper is a poetry analysis, meaning that you're going to research and analyze a poem. In week 4, about halfway down, there's an authors and a poems list. If you'll open that up, these are the authors and the poems that I'm asking you to choose from. It does not matter which author you choose. It does not matter which poem from the author. Don't try to choose one that's not on this list. The reason I have this list as a condensed list is because these are, to me, strong writers who have a lot of criticism on them, and so the research is going to be easier for you to complete. All right, so once you've chosen an author and a poem, then you're ready to start your research paper. You want to go to the Poetry Research Paper Guidelines, and you want to open that up. After I post this video, it will be right here where my mouse is. But the first thing you want to download is the How Do I Write a Poetry Analysis handout. When you open that up, you will see, just like the short story analysis one, this is detailed for you about what places you cannot go to use for sources. It also talks specifically about the different paragraphs. This is a 7-paragraph essay, and I give you each paragraph what I want you to include. Paragraph 1, you're going to summarize the poem, just like you did in your short story analysis. You're going to summarize the poem. Then you're going to have that all-important thesis statement. I've given you examples, and I've also reiterated that formula. Some of you did not follow this formula. Make sure you follow it. Here are your sample ones. Read through that. Paragraph 2, you are writing a biography about your author. You're going to give a brief biography of your author and kind of summarize his or her life. Paragraph 2, you're going to need to document where you found your sources. Not every paragraph of this paper requires documentation because, for example, in paragraph 3, I have you write about the physical structure of the poem. You can do that on your own. How many lines does it have? Does it have a rhyme scheme? How many stanzas? What kind of punctuation marks are there? Is there a specific form that it follows? You may not need to find any sources that talk about this. You can do this on your own. Paragraphs 4, 5, and 6, that is going back to your thesis statement, your first, second, and third literary device that you mentioned. Here, maybe one of them you can write on your own. Maybe the other 2 you need to find sources for. So realize that not everything that you write in this paper has to have a source that says it, because you've learned how to analyze literature, but this one allows you to get some extra help from outside sources. And then paragraph 7, a personal evaluation of the poem, just like you wrote in your short story analysis. All right, so that's the overall structure of the essay. Now, I want to show you how to find sources online, scholarly sources, not a Wikipedia. Don't just go to Google and type in your author, Maya Angelou, because you're going to come up with all kinds of sources that may not be scholarly sources. So the first place I want you to go to are the databases at Kilgore College. Go to kilgore.edu. Scroll down to the bottom where it says helpful links and go to the Watson Library. Here, you don't have to be in the library to find sources. You're most welcome to go to the library, and we are open during the summer. But the databases are a collection of scholarly articles that are going to be wonderful tools for you to find information. Right here, click on databases. Then the college has already kind of categorized them by the subject. Go down to the one that says literature and languages. And while there are a lot of databases, I'm going to show you to me the top two. The first one is Literary Reference Center. When you click on that, you're going to have a login. Log into it just like you would Access KC or Blackboard. Literary Reference Center is very user-friendly. Let's say you had chosen to do Sylvia Plath's poem, Daddy. Maybe put the title of the poem in the first line, and down here, just put the author's last name, and then click search. You'll see that there's 26 articles. However, not all of them are full text. So then click on limit to full text, and then you'll see that you have 13 articles. Once you click on one that looks good to you, you'll see that you have a couple of options. You can read through it. You might print it. You could send it to yourself, or you could save it. But most importantly, why the databases are so useful is because they have the citation tools for you. So if you feel like this is going to be something that you are going to use in your paper, and there's some information that you're going to be using, if you go over here to the Cite button, it's going to do the works cited entry for you. If you scroll all the way down to MLA, since that's what we use, voila, here is the works cited entry done for you. You can highlight it, copy it, and then let's go to, let's just pretend that this is my works cited page. I'm going to scroll down here to Times New Roman. And I'm going to make sure that this is double spaced. Left justified. I can hit Control V. And what it's going to do is it's going to copy everything from that article perfectly from my works cited page, except, as you'll notice, there's no hanging indent. MLA requires the second and subsequent lines to be indented. If I come over here at the second line and I hit the tab key, oops, it indents everything. So I'm going to backspace that. So a trick is put your cursor on the second line, hit the enter button twice, because the first time it doesn't do anything, then click backspace, then click tab, and it's done it for you. Now, one thing it didn't do though, is when you copied and pasted it, it did not follow through with the italics. So make sure you go back and look at that and see what needs to be italicized. All right. So that's one really useful thing about the database articles. One, they're already scholarly. If you just go to Google and type in something, you can't use Wikipedia, you can't use discussion boards, you can't use some sort of website that looks like it's just for advertisement. Make sure it's scholarly. You don't have to doubt about the questions or the information in the database articles. Those are all scholarly articles. Now, if you do go online and find an article and you're just not quite sure if it's really something that you should be using, email me that link and let me look at it, and I'll tell you whether you can use it for your paper or not. So that's Literary Reference Center. If you want to, you can also use Bloom's, and I really like Bloom's. Let me just back up. Go back to Literature and Language, click on Bloom's. Now, let's say you've already got lots of information on your poem. You need a biography information. Then where it says search, put in the author's name. Let's say you were doing a poem by Maya Angelou. You could go over here and click on biography, and now it went from 600 and something to 49. These are 49 articles on Maya Angelou. Let's see if you decide you want to do this one. Same thing, useful tool. Instead of the cite button over here like it was in the other database, you can go up here to citation, and you can choose which one you want. Make sure you have it in MLA. Copy it. Then you can go to your Word document. Now I'm going to put that one in front of this one because I have to list them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to click Control V. I'm going to go back over here, enter, backspace, tab, and then I'm going to go up here and I need to highlight this because it should be italicized, just like the database should be italicized. But in other words, you're completing your works cited page really quickly, and it took you seconds to find these sources. So realize that the databases are there for you. They're useful tools. You're not going to find every single thing that you need from the databases, because some of it, you can write on your own, but that's a good place to start. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I've also posted the rubric and all kinds of things for you. There's a video about MLA. There's an updates video. There's the link to the OWL Purdue, which is the website that you're going to be using for all of your tools. We don't have an MLA handbook. So when you click on the works cited practice, it'll show you here's the OWL Purdue website. And the OWL Purdue is the online writing lab for Purdue University. And it goes all in details about how to use MLA and how to format your paper in MLA.